There are a lot of ways that we can connect with other people to create healthy bonds that nurture our tribes in both personal and professional relationships. Emotional energy plays a huge role in this. How we interact emotionally can make or break powerful bonds that can ensure our survival, creativity, and ability to produce efficiently, effectively, and beautifully with other people. In today's episode, I'm covering Human Design Channel 59.6. This is known as the channel of mating in traditional human design. And in BG5, the business application of human design, this is known as the strength of interaction. This channel also creates an emotional wave known as the source wave. This is the beginning of all of the emotional waves. It's a very important emotional and creative channel. You're going to learn all about the role of this channel and the emotional wave associated with it in intimacy, bonding, and creativity, both in personal and professional relationships, and how this energy can show up in your life. Whether you have this channel to find yourself and you are broadcasting this energy out to others, if you have this channel undefined and you are receiving and amplifying this energy, or if you have part of this channel defined and you're creating it with other people through your relationships. The energy associated with this channel is a really important aspect of emotional intelligence. And when this is understood and embodied, it will help you have the most effective, creative, and fertile relationships, both personally and professionally. Welcome to Heart-Centered Human Design, the show for heart-centered entrepreneurs that want meaningful success and work-life balance so that they can wake up every day feeling empowered, inspired, and supported by work and life. I'm your host, Vanessa Naja, human design mentor and coach, and I'm so excited to share with you how the nuances of the human design system can empower you to live your best possible life, both personally and professionally. If you're ready to dive in deeper, I'll let you know at the end of the episode how we can work together to help you make the most of your emotional energy in business and in life through the powerful lens of human design. The channel 59.6, which creates the emotional wave known as the source wave, is all about intimacy, bonding, and creating something new. In traditional human design, this channel is known as the channel of mating, which tells you a lot. And this is about creating new life with somebody else. Now, in BG5, this is known as the strength of interaction. And when we look at it from the business perspective or through the business lens, this is very much about creating something new with somebody else through interaction, through bonding, through intimacy. And that somebody could be a colleague, a business partner, a teammate, or this could also be something as simple as baking a cake with a loved one. This is very much about interaction to create something new with somebody else through bonding, connection, and intimacy. Now, just a reminder that we all have all parts of the chart. It's just that some of them are more consistent for us and some of them are inconsistent. So if you have this channel defined, this channel runs from the sacral center, which is the square, the second from the bottom of the chart, and the sacral center is the center for life force and workforce energy, and it runs to the solar plexus, the triangle on the right side of the chart, pointing left directly at the sacral center. We all have access to all of the energy in the chart, whether we have it defined or not. The difference is if you have this channel defined, meaning it is colored in on your human design chart, you have consistent access to this energy. It is a part of who you are. It is your nature. And you broadcast this energy out to other people who pick this energy up from you. If you have this channel undefined, meaning it's completely white in your chart, this is something that you are going to be receiving and picking up from other people around you and also potentially planetary transits. And actually, at the time of the recording of this episode, this entire channel is in transit. So we are all, regardless of how we're defined, going to experience this energy from time to time. Now, if you only have half the channel defined, meaning you either have gate 59 or gate 6, that gate is always going to be looking for the electromagnetic. The electromagnetic is the other gate in that channel. So you're naturally going to be attracting people to you that have the other end of that channel, and you form that channel together, which is very interesting because you may have both you and the other person may have an undefined solar plexus. And when you come together, it actually creates an emotional wave for you and defines your solar plexus. So there are so many different ways that we can experience this energy. You don't need to worry about the little details. Just know that whether you have this defined or undefined, this is going to play a meaningful role in your life. Channel 59.6 and the source wave is part of the defense circuit, which is a theme in our chart that is one of the most powerful aspects in our design. And it is all about creating bonds, creating something new, and nurturing our tribe, our families into maturity and into survival. This energy can be pretty intense. And this channel and this entire circuit is actually known as aura busting. And what that means is that when somebody has this energy defined in their chart, it can really break through the auras of other people and bring them into that tribal energy, into that energy of defense, and making sure that what you are creating can survive and thrive. The source wave that is created by this channel is a fairly steady emotional wave that is where need, passion, and desire is created, which helps us break down barriers in order to bond with others. Now, this is the beginning of all the other emotional waves, and it is a source of sensitivity, moods, and feelings. Now, if you're somebody that has this channel defined, you definitely have emotional authority, because any channel that connects two centers is going to define both of those centers. And if you have emotional authority, you need to take your time to move through the ups and downs of your wave before you make decisions. This wave is the steadiest of all the waves. And if you have this as the only wave in your design, you may actually often feel like you're not an emotionally defined person. You're pretty even keel most of the time. However, this wave really comes to the surface in interaction with other people. It requires other people to bring the energy to the surface. So even though you might feel pretty calm and steady when there's not much going on, if something is coming up in your relationships, in your family, in your tribe, that is when this wave can become activated and can really start to move. If you have this wave defined, you do want to be very aware of when other people bring this wave to the surface. And this wave actually has some really special qualities to it, in the sense that it can really calm intense emotional states. When the person that has this wave is very aware of what is going on around them, you could be in a situation where there is a lot of emotional turmoil. And as long as you can stay steady in your own emotional solidity, you can really bring that turmoil down. However, the opposite can also be true. If you get really caught up in everybody else's emotions and you get really caught up in what is going on with everybody else, you can actually intensify that emotional energy and make things worse. So if you do have this entire channel defined, it is really important to be aware of this wave operating inside of you when it comes to the surface, and be careful about not getting caught up in everybody else's emotions and then adding more fuel to the fire when there's drama. If you have this wave defined on your chart and it is colored in red versus black, that means it's unconscious for you. And if you have an unconscious wave, it's going to require a little bit more awareness. It might take a little longer for you to really understand the depth of this wave. Now, I have another emotional wave, and mine is also unconscious. It's partially unconscious. So even if it's half red and half black, it's still considered unconscious. And it has taken me longer to really get to the depth of the understanding of my own wave. It has been such a rewarding workflow and has made such a huge difference in my life. So it is well worth taking the time and really doing the work to understand how this wave works for you if you have it defined. When it comes to business, and especially when you're working in larger organizations, if you have channel 59.6 defined, this is called an organizing channel, which actually will control the experience of a large group of people. We're talking about the emotional experience here. So this can be very powerful in creating experiences for that group that are emotionally balancing and emotionally uplifting, and can really bring everybody emotionally on the same page. Now, of course, the opposite is also true. If you have this wave, then you're in a group of people, you're working in business and everybody's all over the place emotionally, and you buy into that, then you can actually create more drama with this wave. So being aware of where you are on the spectrum, if you have this wave defined, super important for bringing emotional balance to groups and businesses. Let's talk about the two gates that make up this wave. We have gate 59, which sits on the right side of the solar plexus. This is the gate of penetration in traditional human design. This is about intimacy and bonding. And in BG5, this is known as achieving union. And this is very powerful, generative, tribal energy that is available to bond with the right people at the right time to produce fertile outcomes. So this is powerful, generative energy that is available to bond with others to create something new, whether that be a baby, a business, a project. This energy is warm and intimate and can often be felt that way by others. If you have this gate defined, then relationships are likely very important to you, and you have a powerful ability to bond with the right people at the right time in the right circumstances. However, you want to be really careful that you are using your strategy and authority when entering into bonds with other people. You really want to take your time with this energy. It's emotional energy. It's important that you're connecting with the right other person in order to really have those fertile and creative bonds. When you're not following your strategy and authority, when you have gate 59 and you are entering bonds that are not correct for you, this can lead to confusion, conflict, unproductive business agreements, or all around chaos. So you really want to be careful about who you're bonding with when you carry this energy. Something to also be aware of with gate 59, and especially when you have just the gate, not the whole channel, is that people can pick up from you or get the impression that you are trying to flirt or be intimate in some way, even though that is not at all your intention and not at all what you are trying to send out. So note that this can come up and try not to take it personally. It is just the energy of this particular gate about creating connections, creating intimacy and bonding. It can be taken the wrong way sometimes. Moving on to gate 6. This is the gate that sits on the solar plexus and where the emotional wave actually begins. Gate 6 is known as the gate of friction. And this is that friction, that heat that is required to create something new. Like when you are cooking up ingredients and you need them to melt together, it requires some heat. Or you can even think about the striking of a match, that friction that is required to actually light the fire. Now, gate 6 operates almost like a diaphragm, and it's either open or closed to intimacy, and it decides whether it wants to bond with the gate 59 on the other side. This does sit on the solar plexus, which is an awareness center, and there is that emotional awareness here of whether you want to bond with somebody and be intimate or not. It's either emotionally open to intimacy or it is emotionally closed, and it will often move in between the two. Now, we move through friction to get to a place of bonding, to get to a place of peace, and this often goes through diplomacy. So this gate is also where war and peace lives, where conflict lives, and when you resolve that conflict through diplomacy is when you achieve peace and union. However, when this diaphragm or this energy is closed to intimacy, that means you have to wait. And this is the thing with all emotional waves, is waiting for clarity. So it's super important, especially if you have this gate defined, that you only connect with others when it feels right for you. Now, this can often be a problem in a sense of conditioning of if there's people pleasing, if you want to make somebody else happy, if you feel pressure. So going through your deconditioning process, really understanding your own strategy and authority, and understanding that it's when you are open to bond and you are available to bond is when creativity really flourishes. And if you are not open and available to bond, just like with that gate 59, if it is bonding at the wrong time or with the wrong person, there can be potential for chaos, business agreements not working out, and all kinds of struggles. So remember, strategy and authority, always so important in understanding which bonds are correct for you or not. As this is a gate on the solar plexus, there is a fear associated with this gate. All awareness centers have fears in their associated gates, and here this is the fear of intimacy. This may be conscious for you, especially if you have this gate colored in black. It may be unconscious if it is red for you. And if you don't have this gate defined, this is something that may not be consistent for you, but can come up from time to time. And you may also amplify this fear from other people. Having healthy boundaries with this energy is so important to understand and to know and to feel who is correct for you to bond with and who is not correct for you, and honoring your own timing. So when we bring the 59 and the 6 together, again, we are creating this channel of meeting, this channel of interaction with other people. And having the entire channel defined means it's going to work a little bit differently than when you have only one gate or the other gate. Anything in human design is always the synthesis is more than the sum of its parts. And it may operate a little bit differently. Now here, having this channel defined, there's going to be that capacity to easily penetrate the defenses of other people, to form bonds with them, to help smooth their emotions when it's operating in its high expression, and also to potentially add fuel to the fire when it's operating in its low expression. There are always going to be those emotions attached to those waves, and these are always going to be brought up by other people. So if you have it defined, you may feel pretty even keel on your own. And when you're with others, or there's really something up in your relationships or with your tribes, you might feel very emotional. With this wave, as with any emotional wave, timing is so important in allowing your emotional authority, your wave over time, to let you know who is correct to bond with and who is not. Really important to take your time entering into any and all relationships, whether those be personal relationships or professional relationships. Getting that clarity of who is correct for you is going to take some time. So be really careful about not rushing into new relationships. This channel also has a lot to do with fertility. It's known as a channel of meeting for a reason. With this channel defined, whether you have the entire channel or in particular when you are dealing with electromagnetics here, there can be unplanned pregnancies. There can also be fertility issues. So this can again show up in the extremes of that. Now, when you have this as an electromagnetic, you definitely want to be particularly careful about nothing happening that is not planned, because that is not uncommon here. And I know many people that have this channel that are very, very fertile. And also the infertility can come up here, again, relating potentially to issues around intimacy, through bonding with the wrong people, through not reading out through your emotional wave. So always remembering when it comes to truly embodying your human design, going through that deconditioning process, looking at your chart as a whole, because it lives in a whole. In order to understand and learn about this energy, we have to break it down into its parts, but that is not how it operates. It's going to be influenced by other aspects of your chart as well. And you always want to take that into consideration. If you would like to dive deeper into this, I invite you to check out Emotional Intelligence by Design, where we'll work together to really uncover how this energy is working in your life, how it's showing up for you, and how you can use it to create the most fertile, intimate bonds, relationships, and businesses. You can check it out at vanessanaja.com/emotional intelligence, and I'll also link it in the show notes. If you're listening or watching somewhere where you can comment, I would love to hear how this landed for you. And if you have any questions about this energy, and if you're listening somewhere where you cannot comment, please head over to my Instagram. It's at HD Vanessa Naja, and send me a DM and let me know how it landed for you and what questions you might have. And check out the carousel posts that I have done about this energy so you can get a deeper understanding of it, and know that I post on Instagram almost daily with tips, practical application, deconditioning strategies, and all kinds of fun stuff on that Instagram account. I would love to see you there. Thank you so much for listening all the way to the end, and I'll see you in the next episode.